guys, it's me, 𝗥🧅 Rainbow.
And I'm Renata from the 𝗍𝗍.
And welcome back to episode 21 of the 𝗍𝗍𝘆 podcast. We are in the thick of the Eurovision season now. It's getting to the point where there are Super Saturdays. We're going to start getting artists every single week, honestly, at this point, given how few we actually have in comparison to when we actually need them all to come out. So we have some artist announcements from Georgia this week, as well as the live show performances. That's right. We are, Super Saturdays.
Finally.
Yeah, I know. Not just the songs, girl. We got performances from Lithuania, from Norway, from we had the Moldovan auditions that happen. There's a lot of crap. There's a lot of shit going on in the Eurovision sphere, to the point where now, just for reference, guys, we're probably going to be mainly covering what goes on during these Super Saturdays live performances, and then like main announcements, right? Just because, we can't, girl, there's going to be thousands of songs every single week to go over. So there's a jam-packed episode with all of that going on. But before we get into this episode, we want to give a little shout out to our patrons. These are the people who went over to patreon.com/𝗍𝗍𝘆 podcast to support the podcast, as well as get access to the full-length video episodes of every single episode that comes out early released on Thursdays, as well as some bonus Patreon exclusive content that we have over there. I am also going to start including in this episode, to kind of like test it all out, we are going to start including song snippets in the Patreon only. So they're not going to be on the YouTube, they're not going to be on Spotify due to copyright issues, but there is a more lenient copyright policy over on Patreon. So we're going to include the song snippets. That way, if you guys haven't listened to the songs, you guys can hear a little bit of them as we're talking about them. So, along with all of those amazing benefits, you also get a shout out at the beginning of the episode, like the following people. So shout out to Meredith, Daniel, 𝗍𝗍𝘆, Alistair, Russell, Shoegazer, Daniel, Kathleen, Suniva, Norbert, Jackson, Henny, and Andrew. And if you would like a shout out in next week's episode, make sure you head over to patreon.com/𝗍𝗍𝘆 podcast and subscribe over there. And also shout out to everybody who's been listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. Make sure, if you're loving the podcast, to leave a review, to like, to comment, to subscribe, to follow, all the amazing things, so you don't miss out on any of the episodes and you help the podcast out a little bit. And yeah, without further ado, guys, let's get into the episode. All right, so the first big piece of news that we had was very random, came out of literally nowhere. I don't think anybody expected this. In fact, I don't even think the artist expected it until 24 hours apparently before it was announced. Was the Georgian artist was announced, and it is none other than Nutsa 𝗍𝗍𝘆. And this is very exciting. People on the timeline were very excited. I had no idea who this woman was, right?
Same, no clue.
No clue. But everybody was freaking out. I said, oh my God, I gotta look into her, because I was shook. Everybody was freaking out. So she actually most recently came top 12 on American Idol, which is what everybody kind of, I guess, knows her for at this current moment. However, she also did compete in Georgia's national selection and came second against 𝗤𝗏 𝗥𝗶. Wait, is it 𝗥𝗏𝗆? Keep the Faith.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay.
So she actually came second back then. So she might be on your mind because of that. But she's kind of done everything. She is no stranger to competitions. She actually won New Wave. And then she also competed in Georgia's Got Talent, Your Face Sounds Familiar, Dancing with the Stars. Like, she kind of has done it all. She loves a good singing competition specifically. And I actually realized when I went back to go look at her performances, that I had seen her perform one of her performances from American Idol. I'm not an American Idol watcher. I don't think you are either.
No, I watched the first one only because it was sort of like a everyone did, you
Yeah.
know? And, um and then I never watched it again. I'm not super into the singing contests. Like, I like Eurovision because they're original songs. I don't really like to watch people sing covers of songs. Like, they're always normally really good. It's just that I'm not
Mhm.
also half the show is not even performances. It's just like people telling, like, the producers making stories for them, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like when you go back and look at those early, specifically American Idol, you look at the early seasons and you see the people who won those, they all kinda the first few seasons, people kinda, we got some stars from there, but then it just kinda lost its, like, cultural significance as time went
Mhm,
on. It wasn't as exciting. Suddenly, we were, like, inundated with a million singing competition shows and kinda like people just covering songs can only be so exciting for so long. For me
mhm.
and you personally, like, that's just I don't know. It can only be so much for so long, and then also, I think the thing that not to go on a tangent, but to go on a tangent, like, the thing I always love because I feel like people who don't like, especially Americans, people who don't, know stuff about Eurovision, you're, like, trying to tell them about it, and, like, kinda the only reference I feel like I can ever say is, like, "Oh, like, think American Idol, maybe," but, like, that's not really a good comparison. People always think, "Oh, you must like those types of shows," and it's like, "No, no, no, no," because one of the things I love about apart from, of course, like, the each artist getting to do their own thing, it's their own original work, but also, it's the damn we ain't beating around the bush of the bullshit of the storylines and none of that. We're talking about, we're voting on the best of what we see, nothing else. Like,
Right. It truly is like what you see is what you get. The only reason we have postcards in the first place is because they needed to put something up on the screen while they changed the set dressing. So, yeah, I do like it more when it get like, of course, it's nice to get invested a little bit in the artists themselves, but the TV shows go a little bit over the top. But that being said, I feel like it is a good sign just to be someone who, like, she knows what it's like to be getting mic'd up for a
mhm.
live television performance, something that's either actually live direct to the viewers or a recorded live session in a studio. Like, she is going, like, that variable is nothing new to her, which immediately is going to put her on strong footing when it comes to actually getting, in Eurovision. The song, on the other hand, which of course we don't have from her, is another question entirely, but I'm not worried about her.
Yeah,
She'll be fine.
exactly. That's the thing is I feel like the one thing about those singing competitions, especially for the people who, like, go and do a bunch of them, like Sheldon Riley is a good
Mhm.
example of one
He
of
was
those
just
people
on
that, like,
American Idol or X Factor, which one? I forget.
he's on it, right? I think it might be Got Talent, actually. It's like
Oh, oh,
an
maybe.
all-stars almost.
Mm.
But he's one of those people that, like, did Australia I don't know the specifics, but, like, one of the Australian voice competitions, maybe X Factor or whatever, he went on to do America's Got Talent. He's now doing this all sorts like, he does all these different competitions, and it's like, those people are workhorses. Those people are,
Mhm.
like, reliable performers. Like, at that point, when you get a good result consistently in these competitions, you can sing. You are talented. None of that, like you said, none of that will be the concern. It's all just hoping that we get a good song because we know you can perform it. We know you're going to be able to deliver it live, you
Well,
know?
and Darling Iru from this year, she was
Yeah.
same kind of a thing, had done the background show. She had been a junior Eurovision too, right? Is that
One.
correct? She won. So
Yeah.
she knew what she was doing, but what let her down was the song. And I think that what they're doing for her song is they're selecting a song for her. She's not going to use one of her own songs.
Yeah, so actually, she apparently did not know she was being selected as Georgia's artist until 24 hours before that we actually received the announcement. And in a �we Blogs interview, she was talking about how, all right, song submissions are open. So she don't got no song. None of that is even like out there right now in the universe. It's almost like when we learned that she is representing it, that's when we're starting. So they still have, a good amount of time to work on that stuff because I think that that was what ended up being the issue for 𝗼𝗄 was she went through like a national selection
Mhm.
process. It was Georgian Idol or whatever, right? And so by the time that ended, by the time she won, then it was the same sort of thing. All right, we're gonna start on this song. And it was like a week to get the
Yeah.
song and the music video done. It was not enough time. So I'm glad to see that they just internally selected a really strong singer that they know can perform, and they have a little bit more time to actually, maybe take the time to make sure they're selecting a good song as opposed to like rushing it. I do wish, on one hand, I think, there's the idea that, oh, I would rather them work on their song as opposed to like getting song submissions because I know we're having that issue with Marina Sati for
Mhm.
Greece, where it's like she's like, which it's great to hear she's rejecting all the songs because at least she has that choice. But it's like, why doesn't she just write her own song at this point? Because all her other music she's written and it's all amazing. Whereas with her, I don't feel that as much because I went and listened to well, I went and listened to the majority of her discography, and none of it's really giving, to be honest.
Mm.
None of it is where I can say none of that is where the excitement's coming from. People are excited because they know she can sing. She did some great performances, but her actual discography is not that strong. So I'm kind of happy at the idea of maybe some outside interference in helping her pick her song because what she's delivering right now is a Eurovision, not Eurovision worthy type of music, personally.
Right. Well, and so my guess is she's not a songwriter herself, which is
Mhm.
normal. There's a lot of people who are strictly singers and they don't write
Yeah,
songs, and then there's people who write songs and they do not sing. Everyone is different. Some people do both. But uh, so it seems actually really smart when you think about it, because Georgia has always had uh, issues with the cost because
mhm,
it's expensive to be in Eurovision. So all of the money that they used last year doing that national final to pick 𝗼𝗄, that money, they didn't use that up on picking the artist. They can
mhm,
use that money on the production of the song, on a good
mm,
video. Maybe they'll get her out to the pre-parties and stuff. Like maybe she'll actually be more supported in general because they didn't put a bunch of energy into a different
yeah.
show.
Iru was at the pre-parties
Was she at the do you know, I remember, yeah, I remember there was at
because I
least
did
one of
interview
her.
her.
Um, but, this might have been a really smart move for them to go with her. And, maybe she will just she'll get a good song, because probably there's people who have been maybe wanting to submit songs,
That's
and
true.
and sometimes you don't have the right singer for a song maybe. And there might be
Yeah,
people who have a song that she would be really good at singing.
yeah, yeah. And I
Although
do. Oh yeah.
I was just gonna say I didn't listen to her other songs. I only watched her performances on the TV shows, like on YouTube. Um, but I get the sense that based on the type of songs that she chose, as far as what like her vocal style is, if they give her something that matches sort of that feel of what they'd gone for,
So what style did you feel like you got from her through her performances?
they felt like really like classic and soulful and like
Mhm.
powerful, not exciting or playful or, innovative.
So that's what concerns me because her actual discography is nothing like what she was performing. It's kind of
Interesting.
like that very generic, like, I don't know if you'll understand what I'm saying, but like this Russian, like Eastern European dance pop that's very like Miruv almost. Like that
Oh,
kind of
yeah,
dun,
okay.
dun, 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 dun.
Ooh, maybe like a little bit like Cerebro?
Yeah. So
Okay.
that could go different ways because kind of what she was personally delivering was very generic, like not exciting, like stuff I've like heard a million times before from a million different artists. But I like the idea, and I do think she said in her interview with 𝗣𝗡𝗆 that she's going to be sending something fun and exciting.
Okay.
And I like that's what she's looking for through this. So we're not I don't get the impression we're gonna get a ballad. I don't get that any of that. I think we're getting like a cool, intense dance song. I'm just hoping whatever they select still showcases her like amazing vocal range and vocal ability, you know? Because the what like her current music doesn't showcase that. But if she puts like that style with her vocal range, then I think it's going to be amazing.
Well, that's really promising to hear, actually. That makes me happy because, like, one of the videos I watched was "Unbreak My Heart" by Tony Braxton,
Mm,
which is an
mhm.
amazing song, but it wasn't I don't wanna ballads are not my style, so that wasn't
Yeah.
really the type of vibe that I, wanted to be getting. So cool. Okay, that makes me a little bit more excited then for whatever she
Yeah.
ends up sending.
Yeah, because the performance that I had seen before was the Kylie Minogue performance, and they performed Padam Padam and Can't Get You Out of My Head, which are both bops.
Yeah.
And that was amazing. And I'm hoping she goes more for that, that kind of vibe. I feel like that would be because I mean, she can deliver. And she was because it was like a competition too, she does have a tendency in I feel like in her performances to do a little bit too much of the like Christina Aguilera like
Oh,
like
I hate
let's not
that.
go too overboard with that. She did it a little bit in that Kylie Minogue one, but I feel like I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. She seems great. She seems cool. She seems fun. So, we'll see. So Super Saturdays are something that are kind of a tradition, an annoyance of some sort. Every single Eurovision season, we kind of anticipate this point in the season where for the next couple of weeks, every single Saturday, there's going to be a million national selections. So before we get into speaking about each national selection that went on, we want to talk a little bit about our strategies going into Super Saturday. So for you, Renata, what do you do going into a Super Saturday?
So I know that I'm a little bit unconventional as far as Euro fans go. Um, my personal strategy is I will choose one show that I'm going to watch. Like I prioritize one show and I like to experience the whole show. I like to
Mhm.
watch all the performances. I like to catch the little bits and bobs that they put in between them. I like to watch their intervals. I like it to be uninterrupted because I'm already splitting that screen with keeping up with people on Twitter and having conversations, maybe
Mm-mm.
looking up stuff about artists, things like that, making notes so that I can remember what I want to talk about on Joint Slay. But I really like to just enjoy a program because the producers do put them on as like a package. And
Mhm.
then I will go and like if there's another show that's maybe just started or I only missed the first two songs, then I might jump into that one
Yeah.
and I don't have to split my attention because for me personally, the way that my brain works is if I get myself into a situation where I'm jumping from one and then I'm going back to the other, and then I'm going to this one and I'm going to that one and I'm tweeting about it, I feel like what in the attempt to watch three national finals at once, I end up not watching any at all because my
Mhm.
attention is so divided. And
Yeah.
I find that to be very overstimulating. And I start to get also a sense of FOMO where well, what if I had just switched from this one to that one, but then that song that I switched from is actually really good, and now I'm on some piece of shit from this country, and then I go back and it's only halfway through that song, and then it's just like it's too much for me. I start to get flustered and frustrated, and I really prefer to. Already it's like stressful enough to have a lot happening at once, and then I can watch the other ones at the same kind of deliberate pace later. I've gotten myself to the point where I don't feel the pressure anymore to have to experience them all at one time and I spread them out as much as I possibly can to like enjoy them to their full potential.
Yeah. I actually have a pretty similar strategy to you. A lot of the times I just can't watch Super Saturdays because unfortunately I work in food service, which means you're usually working Saturdays. But because of time zone differences, usually I can catch them like before my shift, like
Mhm.
one. So I do tend to do the thing where I focus on one specifically as well. So I'll kind of usually there's ones that I enjoy. If there's one like a final will be prioritized over a
Mhm.
semifinal. Um, and then it just comes down to like which ones I like more, usually like production wise. Like, girl, Moldova ain't getting my views in real time because, girl, in real time that stream gonna be lagging anyways. I'd
It's
rather
true.
watch one where they, actually, have a show going on. Um, and then, yeah, I usually will just, to be honest, I usually just tune in for the entries though. So I will tune in, I will watch the entries, and then once everybody's performed, click out, maybe go to a different one that's still going on, and then I'll try to go back and watch the results if I can live. Because the other thing is some selections are so spread out where they two selections could have 10 songs and one will take 3 hours and one will take an hour,
True.
like so I would rather tune in to the one that's only going to take an hour than the one that shows you one song and then a million other things, a little interval act, oh, a little acting skit, a little interview. No. Because also that's the other thing is like I don't understand the language of what I'm watching. So if there's a lot of like talking and that sort of thing, then I'm gonna tune out. Like I'm not gonna sit for all of that. I like to sit usually for the like actual postcard sort of thing or
Mhm.
interview with the artist. But so that's what I like about Norway because it's pretty like to the point. They don't like BS a lot between.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's normally my strategy. And then the other thing is like, oh my God, like somebody like Malta, girl, there's too many ads. Well, I'm not sitting through
That well,
that.
okay, that is where I make an exception where I will jump around as if it's a thing where they're doing tons of ads. Or
Yeah.
like Romania with their lottery or whatever the hell that was last year where people were like they're like calling numbers. So like anyone who voted gets put into this lottery to win some money and then they call you,
Oh
but you
my
have to answer
God.
the phone and they're just calling forever. So like sometimes I will deviate away from a program and check on something else. Just like you had said. Um, but I actually really love those little extras because it's just kind of like gives you most of the time at least like kind of a little
Yeah.
taste of like what their like that country's style is. And also I will use the national final days sometime to like do chores. Like I'll go through an old stack of mail while I'm sitting there when they're doing the interview, which I don't understand, but I
Yeah.
can still listen. Also, sometimes that's when you get like those amazing moments that are like very random and crazy because you're just like, oh, like, well, what's that? Like it, it's not a performance. It has nothing to do with a performance, but it's just a weird thing that those are like the best memes of the season are like the
That's
weird
true.
stuff that happens in between. Um, but yeah, I also will do stuff like I was making bracelets the other day. So it's
Mm-mm.
like, I'll look down because I want to look when people are performing, but then I can do the other activity while the filler stuff is happening.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Yeah, I get that. And I think also I do think some countries do like their skits and stuff better where I
Mhm.
feel like I can like kind of go along with them a little bit more. Like in Malta, I remember when we were watching it before, I had a lot of trouble just following what was going on. But like I know with Melfest, I can sit and watch that from start to finish, and
Yeah.
I don't speak the language. I don't understand what's going on, but they do like really cool dynamic skits to where like their actions and like what they're doing, it's not just based around what they're saying. So you can still enjoy it. Whereas with Malta, I found like a lot of it was like there was that thing where they were sitting in a car like driving and just talking for like 10 minutes. I was like, girl, okay, I can't. Hey, hey, whatever this is, I know you're making jokes because I hear the
Yeah.
laughter, but I can't understand it. And you're not doing any like. There's no physical comedy to it
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
anything visual to make me laugh. So yeah,
Melfest definitely has the best skits of all of
yeah,
them.
yeah.
So what was your strategy this Saturday? What did you do? Like your order of
Um,
watching?
well, there wasn't as many going on this Saturday with regards to Lithuania. Lithuania's weird because they don't it's not live completely.
Mhm.
So there's not as much anticipation to like actually sit through it. Although one thing I do appreciate about Lithuania is they actually do call like check-ins throughout the live show in English.
Yeah.
So I just appreciate that because to be honest, like I wouldn't even expect that from Lithuania. I more so expect that from like the Scandinavian countries. But I don't know, I really appreciate that Lithuania is like and also to everybody from around the world, not in Lithuania watching, here's what's going on. And
It's
like I'm like,
nice.
yeah, it's really nice that they do that because you really do feel included because I'm like, yeah, I am watching this right now. And I appreciate that y'all like,
Yeah.
just keeping me in the loop a little bit. And also the host's English was perfection.
Really good.
It was
Yeah,
so
really good.
good. I was like, "Oh, y'all ready to host Eurovision." Like whoever these people are, there we go.
Oh, if only the song quality would be there for them to make that happen. W um, but, yeah, I do like that, and I feel like actually Lithuania is a perfect country to do that because Lithuanian is a very specific language that's not very similar to other things.
Mhm.
So, like, if you're speaking Spanish, a lot of people speak Spanish or they speak something close enough to Spanish, like Italian, where like they can kind of
That's
get what's
true.
happening. Germanic people, they can sort of get what's happening sometimes. Slavic people can sort of get it. But Lithuanian, like, you only understand that, oh, there's only like a few million people in the world who speak Lithuanian. So I actually wouldn't be surprised, like, if there was more people that don't speak Lithuanian watching the semifinal
Yeah.
contest than there are actual Lithuanians
Hmm.
watching it, at least.
Yeah, yeah. I am well, I don't know. I don't know what the percentage of Lithuanians that speak English is, but
Probably pretty high.
pretty high.
I think so.
Okay. So yeah, so that's our strategy
Mm.
and we want to hear in the comments down below what is y'all's strategy usually going into a is it Super Saturday? What is it called?
Super Saturday, yeah.
Yeah. We want to know what your strategy is going into a Super Saturday because maybe you got some tips, right? Maybe y'all got a good way to balance going back and forth. So let us know in the comments down below.
Well, I do have one good tip.
Oh,
For the
yes.
people who do like to switch back and forth to things, ESC Plus Live. If you
Mm,
don't already use ESC Plus Live, they have kind of like a integrated screen where you'll actually be able to click in and out of all the different national finals happening. So you don't have to be changing VPNs and jumping from broadcaster to broadcaster. Like you could actually play all of them at once so you can see who's on commercial and this and that. Um,
mm.
and go through all of those. Like I said, I don't really do that. Like I watched Norway straight through, and then I flipped over to Lithuania, and then at the end of the night, I caught Moldova.
Yeah. The only time I'll do that is if there's like multiple finals going on or like there's multiple different shows where I'm truly invested in like a
Mm,
bunch of people.
yeah,
Like one of my favorite songs of the season is going to be next week. So like I know I'm going to be tuning in for Norway because my AI, like I need to see how that goes.
yeah. I'll
Um,
say I'll be watching Norway.
but I don't know what other shows are going on next week. If there's any new ones apart from Lithuania.
Actually, it's uh Esti Lau semifinal,
Oh
Melody Grand
shit.
Prix Heat 2, Lithuania Heat 2, and Raven Song Veronica's released. So that's, yeah,
Oh,
Esti Lau, Norway, and Lithuania. That's kind of a lot, but they're a
I'm
little bit
stressed.
staggered though. Okay, this is good though. So Esti Lau, it's at 1815. The next Norway doesn't start until 1950. So Esti Lau might be finished by the time Norway's getting started.
Well, because here's the thing. Let me tell y'all. This a lot is riding on this damn SD Lau semifinal because if that, which I don't see how at all possible, just to go on a tangent, I don't see it at all being possible for the damn drug song to not go through. But if that song does
Uh,
not go through, I'm not going to SD Lau.
Honestly, I wouldn't
Like,
blame
what
you.
the hell would be the point? I don't like any of the songs other than that and FOMO. Imagine neither of them go through. Girl, I'll do something else with my time.
5 minutes is going through. It's winning. Come on.
They
Yeah.
have to. Um, but yeah, so that's actually not too bad. That's not too overwhelming.
And you know what?
Um,
Actually, looking at the schedule right now, I think the pacing this year, they
it's not horrible.
finally got it right. There's only two
The,
really bad ones,
the 3rd of
February
February is
3rd,
really bad. Yeah.
and then the 17th is kind of full. But other
Oh,
than
yeah.
that, the pacing is pretty good. And I think part of that's because we had uh like a lot of things happened really early. We had songs getting chose really early. We had artists getting chose really early. So I feel like the pacing, like at times
Yeah.
I haven't been sure how much I liked it, but now that I'm looking at like ahead, it does look more manageable going
But
forward.
isn't that a little goofy? Like I'm looking at the calendar now and I'm like, Malta, you started this national selection so long ago, and yet the finale is still gonna happen on a Super Saturday.
That's
Like
really
you could have
stupid.
avoided being on, but now the songs we got, they are stuck with three kind of fan favorite countries: Norway, Spain, and Ukraine. Girl, ain't nobody gonna be talking about y'all. Ain't nobody
Yeah.
gonna be talking about y'all that day. And y'all started this so long ago. You could have easily done it a week before. A week before, you would have only been with Luxembourg. Well, you would have been more talked about than Luxembourg, at least.
Totally.
Like,
Yeah,
come
that's a
on.
bit yeah. I mean, it's hard because there are a lot of countries, but yeah, poof, we are really going to have a lot to talk about going forward.
I know, and it's gonna be really stressful because the really bad ones are when we're gonna be preparing for our trip.
Yeah, ugh, and when we're on our trip.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay, well. All right. So then, first up in the national selection news, we had Norway. The first semifinal of MGP happened last Saturday, and it was a really good show. I feel like Norway always has great production. They always put on a nice, well produced show. And there were, good performances. I don't know. They always are pretty like solid when it comes to that sort
Yeah.
of thing. We don't ever have to worry about that at all. And there were some wacky moments going on in
Yeah.
the show. So I'm excited to get
It
into
was
these
very
songs.
memeable.
It was. And Norway be like that, which we appreciate. So the first song to perform was Woman Show. And I gotta say, I actually liked the way that this started off. Like at first, I was very excited. They showed her laying in what was that, like a bathtub, and they had like the streamers to kind of emulate being in like bubbly water. And I thought, okay, that's kind of like cool, whatever. And then it like opened up, and it looked like it was gonna be a moment. But that was about where the interest ended for me, and
Hmm.
it just got really messy. And it was just kind of standing there, dancing around, but not really like it felt very honestly uninspired when it came to all of that. And there wasn't a clear vision. But I did really like her blue and pink latex moment that she had going on. But there was just a big disconnect. Also, it doesn't read as like a woman empowerment concept with the two men specifically.
Hmm.
So, like, whatever vision they were trying to sell, like, did not come through for me personally.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say it feels uninspired because I felt like there was a little bit too many inspirations,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like there were lots of ideas and they could have really pulled it back a little bit and restrained
Yeah.
it a little more. Like I did love the start with that um bathtub thing because it was a camera trick. She was standing up,
Yeah.
but the way that they had it, it made it look like she was lying down
Mm-hmm.
inside of the bathtub. But yeah, then it's like she's dancing on the couch in like an oversized white shirt, and then they rip
Mm-hmm.
off the shirt to reveal like the little latex outfit underneath, which was very cute. But something really went wrong here as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned. And I wasn't sold on the recording initially. And it has all of these pieces that typically would make an entry that I like. But for whatever
Mm-hmm.
reason, once the pieces got put together, it just it didn't work. It was maybe a little bit like Uncanny Valley. You know, it's an
Mm,
AI
mhm.
picture with 6 fingers. Like it like
Not not the call out to Nicki Minaj. Have you seen that?
Yes, I've seen that. Yeah. Oh, that it's disturbing that she's using AI images, especially ones that are so poorly generated. It's really weird.
It
But
is.
that's kind of it's just it there's a lot there, but there's nothing really. It just didn't work. This one it just didn't work for
It
me.
totally did not. And then from having, too many ideas to maybe not enough was Stranded by Frederick. So I liked the way that this looked in terms of that piano was really cool. I love a little exposed piano, and then they had the lights in there, and it all looked very cool. He had a nice voice. It was just, the song was boring, and I feel like again, it was one of those things where like they caught my intrigue a little bit by the piano, and it was like a cool camera shot from like above, and it came down, and but then it went nowhere. Then it was just like, okay, whatever. But I think he did do well. Like I still after the performance thought there was a chance he could go through.
I thought there was a chance only because it was very different from everything else, but
Hmm.
I also wasn't surprised when he didn't make it through because I
Yeah.
just felt like it was really forgettable and probably the type of thing like I was surprised they put it second in the running order because I
Yeah.
wouldn't be surprised if there were people who just changed the channel after that song
Mm,
came on and never changed it back.
damn. Damn, that's a little. But honestly, I was about to. And then but we had to hold out for our girl
Yeah.
Myra or Myra, Heart on Fire, and I was utterly disappointed because I didn't mind the song. Like I said, this sounded like I said in, my other last week's episode, it sounded like a, royalty-free song.
Mhm.
But I thought a good performance could actually sell this one. Well, we didn't get that because first of all, first right out the gate, the lighting in the background was not working because all the colors blended together. It was like your eyes couldn't focus on anything. There's this pink, glittery, shimmery LED chevron behind her, and then she's wearing like a purple glittery dress, and it just literally like my head hurt trying to watch that at first. Then they brought the lights in. It was a little bit better, but she did nothing. Like there was no like real choreography from her. Not and the dancers weren't even doing nothing to, really write home about. It was just like they really gave nothing to this song. It was true. And our vocals weren't there. I was like, girl, come on. Girl, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I also initially thought that the song was fine. It was, unoffensive, as far as, like, the music and lyrics were concerned, but there was just no contrast or visual interest. I did like the outfits that they had on, like, I
Mhm.
would have worn any single one of those dresses. In fact, I had just been shopping earlier that day for my dress to wear to UMK, and a lot of what I was picking up off the rack was pinks and purples and sparklies and feathers and, little tiny dresses like that, so but like you said, they kind of like blended into like a pink and purple camouflage, and you just couldn't like catch anything. Like it was
Yeah.
just it was all a bit muddled, and there was nothing about it that was like, wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But then speaking of wow, came none
Oh
other
yeah,
than
wow,
Gotham.
indeed.
Listen, Goth Minister, we come alive, bitch. Oh my God. When this came on the screen, I was gagged. I was gooped. I literally genius. The storytelling, the way that this from start to finish had a whole moment. Started out at the doll. The singer recreated as a doll. This child is like playing with this doll, whatever. Then these like demons come. The way they ripped themselves out of that wall was so cool. Unexpected. I was shocked. Then they like possess her and she's like dancing with the demons. Girl, Literally, I thought this was so fucking good. I thought it was so well done. They staged it to me like perfectly for the song to where like it kept me excited. Like when that little girl all of a sudden she looked up and she had the contacts. Oh, I was shocked. This was my winner of the semi. It was
Oh my
so
god.
good to me. It was so good.
I was I was in pain through this one. I already did
What?
not like the song. I already didn't. And like, well, what killed me at the very beginning was in his little postcard interview.
Mhm.
He is
Oh.
the most middle management suburban dad looking guy you've ever seen in your life. Like he was literally dressed in all beige and just like literally the vice principal of a middle school looking ass. And then the show starts and he's wearing the outfit, which I didn't really love the outfit. I thought they could have done something a lot better. It just felt, I don't know, the outfit and makeup I thought looked a little bit too Halloweeny and just not like refined enough. So like I wasn't like, oh wow, like his makeup looks so good. It was like, oh wow, it's that uh associate manager guy from 30 seconds ago, but now he's got gray makeup smeared all over his face and he's wearing a big hat.
Mhm.
And so I don't know, it just didn't like it didn't it it did not bring me into the world. I saw the it was so community theater to me and just this was not it for me. It really was. I liked it even less than when I just
What?
heard the visuals made it worse for me.
Oh my god. The way I'm literally the opposite. I didn't like I did say in my reaction or our review before, I was like, I think this could come alive live, and it did for me. This was so good. I'm really thinking this won the semi. I really
Wow.
think so.
I loved it though because when they did the reveal at the end, it was between this and Woman Show, and it was them standing next to each other, and immediately I thought of that meme of the houses on Venice Beach
Oh
where there's
yeah.
the one black house and the one pink and purple house because them standing next to each other for that final elimination looked just like that. Him in his goth outfit and her in her little pink latex number. It was so memeable to me that moment.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I loved it. I thought it was genius. And then moving on, we had Aya by Ingrid. And okay, with this one, I don't know what I was necessarily expecting. I guess I had an issue of truly comparing this to 𝗫𝗀𝘆𝘆 to the point where
Mhm.
in my brain they were going to stage it like her too, which wouldn't, well, I don't know. Would have actually probably been would have worked out great. Even though they did, she obviously qualified, so she did well. But like it was well done, but I guess I was expecting a little bit more magic to the performance. And
Mhm.
what we got was like, okay, a girl bop dancey little moment. But I felt like, I don't know, in my heart, I always kind of want to like amplify like the like kind of interesting moments and like there's kind of cultural elements to this song that didn't really get emphasized through this
Mhm.
live performance. And even like the little almost like mirror effect where they were dancing or like, it was like half up their body. Girl,
Didn't
it's I
work.
mean, they were just sitting at a table. Like, and that's what it looked like. It didn't look like like it just didn't work. I just wanted more for this. It wasn't bad, but like why were they dressed like sexy mummies? Like I don't know. I was expecting a more ethereal, sexy, sensual, like that kind of moment. It didn't give me that. It was still good. It was my
Y
second place, but
Yeah, this one was a downgrade for me again with the live performance. The mirror thing, at first, I didn't even notice it, and then I did notice it, and I noticed how actually ineffective it was as an illusion, and it became
mhm.
more obvious. I went from not noticing it
Yeah.
to it being the only thing that I could notice, and I understand what they were trying to do, and it would have been really cool if they had pulled it off, but it didn't work. And I'm guessing that they're gonna reuse everything's gonna be the same in the next one. So maybe
Yeah.
they'll figure out a way to make it look a little bit cleaner, but it wasn't working. And
A video effect would have been better, honestly. Just mirroring the video.
a mirror, it literally, yeah, because yeah, something about, I don't know, maybe it was like the angle of the mirror. It just, I don't know. It just didn't.
Yeah.
It just, like you said, it looked like they were sitting at a table with a mirror on top of it.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't love the outfits either. And this one was disappointing because I was expecting a lot more than what they gave us. So actually, it really is a lot like 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗄, isn't it?
It is, but she did like she was good live. Like she had a good her voice was good. I
Her
didn't
voice was
notice
good.
like any issues with that and her dancing with that. Like she had decent stage presence, which were issues 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏 did not have.
Yeah.
So it wasn't fully it wasn't go on girl give us nothing like 𝗬𝗏𝗧𝗏. So that's the thing. I feel like if she had some sick staging, like this really could have been a winner,
Mhm.
honestly. But it wasn't giving winner of the semi vibes.
No, 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 not at all.
No.
It
And
was
to be
giving
quite
marginal qualifier for me.
yeah. If this was a stronger semi, like I'd be scared for all these bitches, except for Goth Minister.
Oh, this
And
semi was weak sauce.
that's why I fully feel like, oh, Goth Minister could have won this because I don't know. But then last up we had Oblivion by Margaret Berger. Like again, this did nothing for me live. Again, like a downgrade because why was she wearing what the fuck was she wearing? And
It was so
I
bad. Oh my
like
God.
at first I didn't mind when I thought, oh, well, that's a kind of a fun idea. We're like what, like, you know, office worker? No, like what are we? But then the more I looked at her outfit specifically, I was like, what the fuck is she wearing? Like that was horrible. That was so ugly. Like an ugly shade of gray. Like what was that? And then
It was really bad. It looked like the stuff that I used to work in this kind of like women's business casual store, and we had a like partnership line with the TV show Scandal. I don't know if you knew the show Scandal. And in Scandal, it's kind of like a lawyer show, and she's always wearing these like super over-tailored capelet things with fucking goofy ass sleeves. And when she came out in that gray outfit, I was like, that looks like the limited Scandal collection. And we would charge like $250 for that ugly
oh
jacket.
my
And then no
God.
one would buy it and it would go down to markdown and you could get it for like $30. And I have some of these jackets in my closet that I did get for like $30 and then never wore because they are stupid and ugly, just like this horrible thing that they put her in. But it wasn't
Yeah.
just her outfit either. The dancers had the same ugly
Yeah.
drab gray.
Because it's that color. Because even her outfit would have been a little more redeemable if it was a different color. But that flat gray, like just nothing.
And the background was gray and the blocks they danced on was gray. And it was, oh, great. And I get that, like, yeah, maybe Oblivion kind of is like a void, but conceptually, I don't think that the color story was helping there at all. Oh, and
No,
can we
no.
talk about the dancing? Those little block things that they were jumping on was so stupid. The I saw a lot of other people say this, but I definitely thought as well. There was a lot that reminded me of Can't Go On, Robin Bankson, and it wasn't just
Yes.
that they were kind of hopping between the little platforms, but even like the dance moves, like they would do these like really
Yeah.
long like shoulder stretches, and it just was so, oh, it just so unoriginal and really let the song down because I think the song is okay.
Yeah.
Um, but so to me, the semifinal was so weak. I couldn't believe it while I was watching it, how weak it felt. And this is why I've said recently that I personally have felt like MGP has been falling off a bit. And I know that you disagree with that, but like I feel like this semifinal was a really good example of how like they're just not bringing it quality wise. That everything is well produced and looks slick, but
Hmm.
the songs aren't there. the concepts aren't there. Like, they need a new creative director, because the only one that was giving creativity, like real true creativity and vision, was 𝗤𝗏𝘅minister. And that's probably because of the type of music he does is so theatrical to begin with. It was probably his
Mhm.
ideas and not the
Yeah.
creative director's ideas. They need to fix something. And we'll see in the future weeks, because I remember when we went through and did song by song that there were semifinals that were much stronger or weaker than the others. But
Next
I
week
don't
is the
think
strong semi.
next week's strong. I don't think that this was a good sign, though. I think we're going
Yeah.
to be seeing more of this. And if it continues that way, it might end up being one of the things that I watch others shows instead of this one.
Mm.
I
I
catch up with this one later.
Yeah, I get that. Next week I am excited about because we get Miss My AI, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
But next week's a little stronger. It's a little stronger. This one, I will say, my top 3 picks were the 3 I picked. Not even went from the live performance, but when we back did our episode, these were the 3 I said would go through. So I'm just saying. Not that it was pretty obvious though, to be
Yeah, I mean,
fair.
the results weren't surprising at all.
Yeah. And also just want to say, for, because people talk about it every single time, the whole like, you have not gone through, or whatever
I
they
hate it.
say. You hate it? I love it.
I hate it.
I
Like, just
love it.
call the names of the winners.
I get it, but I kind of live. Although I did feel bad for Frederick, how he was standing there on crutches, and like,
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, y'all made that man. Y'all couldn't have given him a seat. Like, he couldn't have sat down. He had to stand up there that whole time on crutches, and for y'all to have the nerve to say you didn't go through.
Yeah, that's kind of fucked up, actually.
And he still had to stand there.
Do you know, is he disabled, or like did he have an injury and
No,
that's why he's on crutches?
yeah, I'm not sure. I don't, because I didn't, did he stand up in his performance at
I
all?
think he was sat at the piano the whole time.
The whole time? Yeah, I don't know. I didn't hear anybody talk about that at all. So I'm not sure. But it
And maybe
doesn't
he
say
was
any.
fine to stand on his crutches and didn't want to sit. Although they could have pulled it off just as well. You wouldn't have probably known if he was sitting. Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
noticed that too, that he was on crutches, and I thought, damn, like if I needed to use crutches, I would not be standing there for that. I would make them give me a
Yeah.
seat.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, come on. There's no reason for you to actually be standing. Like, you don't have to.
No,
There's
they could have
nothing.
had all of them sitting on a big comfy couch together, actually.
Yeah, like last year. That's what they did last year, at
And
least.
even Belgium did that last year. Everyone was kind of sitting around a little couch
Mm-hmm.
and, comfortable chairs. Yeah, why are we making the people stand and get humiliated on screen? That's not fair.
I don't mind it so much in a national selection. For Eurovision, I don't love it, but I don't mind it too much. Alrighty. So now moving on, we have the first heat of Lithuania's national selection. So once again, they're doing heats and then semifinals and then a final. Good for them. But way less are going through. So only 2 songs. So there were 8 songs in total. Only 2 go through, which is
That's
actually
weird.
it's a good cut down though for Lithuania. But I just feel like just combine it, make it like, I don't know. Only 2 to go through is weird. It is weird. But hey, so we're gonna start from, actually, because we got the full results.
Wait, wait,
Like,
wait, 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 wait. Sorry. Only 2 are going through. How many heats are there in this contest?
I don't know.
Like, how
Not
many songs are we supposed to have? Is this going to be a 6-song final? Okay, Lithuania there's
Yeah,
5 heats. So 2 songs,
are,
5
are
heats
there
is
no semifinals then?
uh, uh nope, there's 5 heats, no
So why are
semi.
we calling them heats? What the hell's a heat?
I don't know. Nope. It
Ah,
looks like it's 5 heats, 2 songs each, 10-song final.
oh my God. Just combine whatever. But so one weird thing that Lithuania does that I still don't understand is, why do we get the results? Like, why do we know the rankings? Now, I don't think it matters as much because only 2 are going through. But, like, back in the day when, like, 5 would go through, that's not good to know who got first and who got and, like, get all the detailed breakdowns of the votes. Because if my ass came last in the qualifiers, girl, what's the point?
Yeah, right, right. You're not gonna change the jury's mind.
Yeah, but I guess it's only 2, so it's, like, a difference of 12 points and 10 points, but still,
Yeah.
weird. So in last place of this semi was the song "Save Me" by 𝗤𝗍𝘅𝘆 𝗥𝗶𝗍𝘁. Um, so okay, this one actually it wasn't horrible. I was kind of surprised for it to come last because it wasn't bad. She was like, she was kind of it was cute. It was a fine song, but it was very cheesy. It was very lame. It was very unoriginal. It just was
Shockingly unoriginal, honestly. It was just like,
yeah.
"Oh, wow, what this is completely lacking vision."
Yeah, like, painfully generic, to the point where I I laughed. Like, I actually laughed watching this, like, this was not meant to be comedic, but I actually thought
Mm,
it was funny watching it because it was so, like, obvious every step of the way.
yeah.
Um, yeah. And then we had "You" by Ice Day, who I believe has competed, like, that name sounds familiar, but for some reason when I was searching it, like, I could not find her other entries. So I don't remember if I liked any of the other stuff that she sent, but I actually thought this was pretty good. I liked the staging. I liked the bright orange and the reds and the red light. It was very intense. She had a cool kind of weird outfit, which I feel like always is in Lithuania. Like, I don't know. Their fashion sense is crazy over there in like a good way. Like, I feel
Mhm.
like people take good risks. But it just didn't really go anywhere for me, this song. It felt like it just is what it is. My
Yeah, it's definitely a song. I felt like the chorus was like way too like vocal exercisey, and you'll probably
Mhm,
hear me say this plenty of other times in the season. I really dislike it when a chorus is just one word that they repeat and they sing it in a bunch of different ways.
mhm,
That bothers me. Give me some actual lyrics. And like sometimes repetition works. Sometimes repetition is good because it really hammers in an idea in a way, but this isn't doing that, just saying you. It was just uh this was not this was a clear non-qualifier for me.
mm. Yeah. Then we had "Say No More" by Antoine Wend. I don't know if it's Antoine, but,
Yeah.
uh, I thought he was really hot.
The
Um
most important thing.
Well, exactly, because to me, he had my vote because of that. But, I actually did think this song was better than where it placed. Like, I thought this would have been a little higher. I don't think it deserved if only 2 people went through, I think the right 2 people went through. So I don't think this should have gone through, but I did see it being just higher compared to some of the songs above it. It wasn't anything special, but I still liked it, and I think he had a really, really good voice, like a really strong voice. And I liked the LED. It was like this kinda like gradient, Pantone, almost like a
Mhm.
little Pantone gradient, and I thought it looked cool, like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't unique enough to go through, but I thought it wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not great. And
Mhm.
I also agree. I did expect this one to do much better than 5 points, which puts it like at the low end of mid-table. Like it's totally a decent song, and the performance was generally fine, but there wasn't anything that was like particularly memorable or exciting about it.
Yeah. And then we had 𝗏𝗏𝘅𝘆 by Marius Petrauskas. Bitch, I hated this.
Oh, so
Bitch,
bad.
this was horrible to me. Boring, lazy staging, just sitting there for a little bit. Then he stands up, and we just got some black and white images like we're at a damn funeral and it's a fucking
Oh my god.
memorial.
Oh
You
my
know?
god. Yeah, it did look like that. Oh, I didn't think about that, but you're totally right. That it was kind of what it looked like with the black and
Yeah.
white.
Yeah, like, it literally felt like, you know, when, like, an artist dies and they decide to like,
Oh
at the
my god,
Grammys,
in
they decide to do a
memoriam.
yeah, like, that's what it was giving, but this dude was alive, but he might as well have been dead.
Oh my god. Yeah, this is an example of what I don't like.
Mhm.
I it, like, couldn't be less my taste. It's a ballad, it's sung by a man, um, and it's not even like he had great looks to back it up, like and then you look like this guy, and then you choose to just have your face as the background, so there's actually 2 of you now. I mean, if he was like and it sounds shallow, but if he was like a really hot guy,
Mhm.
okay, maybe make him a little bit bigger and then make play up the hotness to make
Yeah.
up for the song, but he was just a totally normal looking guy. A very normal looking guy doing this very emo thing in the video backdrop of himself, totally unnecessary. It would have been better to just use like a I don't know, like a wavy line visualizer.
Yeah.
Um yes, this was really truly terrible. This was probably like the worst one for me.
Yeah, and that's what really got me because when compared to Antoine's song, I was like, "How did that get lower than
Yeah,
this?" Like, this was really bad.
makes
This
no
being
sense.
high like, this being in 5th, oh, I would be pissed if I was at those 3 under him.
Yeah.
Then, speaking honestly, frankly, describing his staging, we had the song "Empty" by 𝗥𝗏𝗃. Um, First of all, weird ass name. I would not wanna be described as creep in my own name personally, because that set the tone for them, and I felt, you
Yeah, I have
know?
a feeling this name is probably I'm my guess on the origins of this name is it's based on A Clockwork Orange and then the song Creep by Radiohead.
Mhm.
I bet that's
Well,
what this name is.
they should have picked a different name.
Yeah.
And, you know, just, like, being inspired by, random things, whatever. Their song felt just like a Paint by Numbers little rock song that was like, you know, it things like this could be amplified if you have a really strong voice. This singer did not have a strong voice. And the lyrics aren't interesting. It's like, I want to be empty, okay?
Mhm.
Okay, like obvious lyric writing. Like that's shit I would write. Because I'm not good. I'm not poetic with my words. That's some shit I would write. Like, no, no.
Yeah, so this song, you know how like there's a genre of biographical movie where the creators of the film do not have the life rights to an artist or their music.
Yeah.
So it might be, it's supposed to be about Elvis, but they can't call it Elvis. So his name is Arliss and he's from Chattanooga instead of Nashville. Like it's just like all the like, and then the song is like so close to sounding like Blue Suede Shoes, but it's not that. It's all just like this like cheap copy because they don't have the rights. This song felt to me like I was watching a movie about Nirvana and Kurt Cobain, but they weren't allowed to call him Kurt, so that they called him Bert. That's what this song was for me.
Oh my god. Yeah. I see that. I see that for sure. Then we had Move On. And girl, we were moving on, frankly. No. By Luca.
Yeah.
Actually, I thought this was pretty good. Like, I loved her outfit. To be honest, that's what Margaret should have been wearing. That was like a cute, kind of different take on a suit that actually looked cute.
It was cute.
Um, it was a fun little bop with like some rock influences what I got and like lots of attitude, just a fuck you breakup song. She's only 16 years old. She ate that up. She gonna be a
Yeah.
star.
Yeah. Yeah, she was. For being as young as she is, I thought she did a really good job. But I was having a really hard time understanding most of the words. And I think
Mhm.
it was a combination of her maybe just not enunciating them very clearly, that they just kind of ran together. Also, I think the lyrics maybe didn't actually make a ton of sense. So like
Mm.
you're trying to understand what the words are, but it doesn't sound right because it actually just doesn't sound right and they don't really
Yeah.
make sense. They're not, sort of like a echo type of a thing where you like you hear the you just kind of you just I don't know. I felt like it was a little bit confusing and just I wasn't in it.
I mean, but you don't agree that, like, days in a row, I'm thinking I know, like, I gotta be, faith, go love is my sound or whatever?
I mean, I think Eru did a better job saying the words. So Eru's issue was that she was saying words very clearly that didn't make no damn sense. This girl is saying words so unclearly, I can't even tell if the things she's saying make sense or not.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of not making sense, girl, we had
Yeah.
"Kaboom!" with
Wow.
3 exclamation points by VB Gang, and bitch, first of all, you know I love an inspired moment, and, like, what I love is when I look at a bitch and I'm like, "I wanna recreate your look." Like, I want a fucking, like, pink cat ear, like, helmet and pink and black motocross outfit that low-key looks reminiscent of maybe what I might be wearing to UMK, who knows how that'll turn
Ooh.
out. Um, bitch, I love the styling. I love the, like, campness of what they were going for. Like, it was just fun. The pink wig, like, it was fun, and they were having fun, and that's what they knew what they were doing with that. I really liked it. I liked it.
Yeah, that this one was iconic. Like the dude with the 2 glasses on. Like,
Yes!
what was that about? I don't know. It was just the styling was really funny. It was cute and it was fun. I didn't like that that chicky chicky part of the song. It reminded me of that thing that they did in Turin, that like chicky chicky. I don't and I didn't understand. I don't know if it was a TikTok thing or what that thing was that they did, but because I didn't understand what the hell they were trying to do, whenever I heard them say like chicky chicky, I all I could think about was that thing, and it kind of
Mm-mm.
like
And that's not a good thing to think about because that's
no,
horrible.
yeah, it was horrible, so that took me out of it a little bit, but, like, as far as this qualifying, at least, I'm excited about it.
Yeah, definitely, all things considered, of this semi, the 2 people who qualified were the best too, I think. Um,
Yeah, oh, yeah, definitely.
yeah, because then the next one that we had was "Luktelk" by Sylvester Belt, and this came, like, in first of the semi, 12 points, and this was the best. Just really well done, really good production, the styling was so sick. He had, like, the metal it's almost like, in, like, Harajuku fashion where they do the, like, Band-Aid on the nose, but
Oh, yeah.
it's like a metal Band-Aid almost. It's like these cool metal things on his face. The choreo, it's got, like, iconic dances already in the chorus. They're, like, doing something like that, and then he has an actual dance break where they do, like, cool stuff. Just really, really well done, and I love that it's in Lithuanian.
Yes. Yeah, this one was great. I thought this one was the best one in the whole semifinal to me. And you're right, like, of all the songs to go through, these are the only 2 songs that I'm actually interested to, like, see again. Um, but I think between the 2 of them, this is clearly better.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
Sylvester Belt song, and, like, the staging was really cool, the styling and the colors and the lighting. I thought that all looked really nice, where I could see that the vision of this on a bigger stage at Eurovision, would work.
Mhm.
So, I actually feel positive looking forward to Lithuania's final because I know already that there's 2 songs that are decent that I'll like, so even if none of the other songs work for me, at least these 2 did, and there's only 10 songs in that semi, so, like, 2/5 of it, I know will be an okay show.
Yeah, I kinda almost have the feeling with same with Norway, where, like, looking at them, I'm like, "Okay, well, if you picked, like the two qualifiers from this, and of course that's all we have. Like we don't have all the other songs that'll be competing for Lithuania, but we do have all the songs that are competing for Norway. And like if I picked my three qualifiers from each semi of Norway, um, I would actually find it to be a really strong selection if like those were the only songs I heard. And same with this. I mean, we only have this so far, but these two are really good. And if we have the next freaking four heats, you know, the two ones that qualify each time are all like really good quality like these ones, then like that would be a really great national selection. Anything below that, subpar,
Yeah.
like not that great. Looking at this really only having two songs I care about isn't good, but at least those two songs are the ones that went through.
Yeah, they're really separating the wheat from the chaff here.
Yeah. I never heard that expression before, but
Oh gosh, am I showing how country I am?
separating the wheat from the chaff?
Wheat from the chaff. So
What's a
wheat
chaff?
wheat is like
Oh,
you
shaft?
chaff, CHAFF, I think. So like when you look at like a thing of wheat, it's like all together on that little stick,
Yeah.
but
So you're
the wheat is only the little grain inside of that thing. So you have to use either like these like shaking baskets, or it goes through like a mechanical separator to separate the wheat from the chaff, which is the rest of the stuff, which is garbage or like waste product.
uh-huh. Oh wow.
At least I'm pretty sure that's right. I
Well,
mean,
I don't know anything. I'm learning stuff from you. I I have never separated wheat from the chaff.
yeah, the chaff is the husk surrounding a seed, the part of the grain that's thrown away.
Oh, okay. Hmm. Maybe we can do that for an episode.
We are so educational.
Yes, that's the true American experience, to be honest, separating wheat from the chaff.
Separating the wheat from the chaff. Yeah.
Uh, well, then, so, I guess we gave our thoughts on that selection. I am, however, looking forward to the rest of Lithuania because I like their wackiness. I like their stupidity. I like their oh, and the Roop is in this, and there's
Yeah, that would
Monica
be the root.
Monica Maria. So I think this was the first semi. We're not, there weren't any big names in here, but there are some good ones moving forward. So who knows? Who knows where this will go? I'm excited regardless. Then, frankly, speaking of like wishy-washy quality, we had Moldova. So we had the live auditions of Moldova. And did you actually watch the whole show?
I did.
Okay, so tell me how that went, because I did not personally.
Okay, so I really liked the beginning. They started off with this cute little recap, going through all the years of Moldova participating, giving you a little clip
Oh,
so you could kind of see the progression. My God, Moldova is such a slay country in Eurovision, for real. When you
they
put those
are.
songs in a lineup next to each other, it truly is like a travesty that this country has never won and hosted. Like, this is
Mhm.
one of those ones where it's like, I want them to host so bad. They would do such a good job. The host city, I'm guessing probably Chisinau, and it would be amazing. I know that they're incredible hosts. It would be such a good place to have Eurovision. And it's a
But
pity.
okay, no, continue. Sorry.
It's just a pity that they've never been able to make it. They've had really great results very many times. I mean, like, Hey Mama, I think it's their best, and that came third. Like, they do really well. They've won basically televotes, more or less, like getting top three in televotes. I mean, they would be like a powerhouse country, but
They
they
kind of
just can't.
are.
They are, but they haven't won yet. They
Yeah.
need to get themselves there. I don't think this is the year that they get themselves the win, though, unfortunately.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it's kind of interesting because if you ever follow, even loosely follow their national selection, like you wouldn't think they would be kind of a powerhouse in Eurovision. But yeah, when you think about all their actual entries, they're all amazing. Like even thinking about the ones that didn't qualify, um, when was the last time they didn't qualify? Like, was it the 2016 with
It's been a while that they
The
didn't
Sky
qualify.
Is Falling? I think it was maybe that, like, 3 years they didn't qualify because I don't think they qualified in, um, 16, 15, 14. Because there was that, like, warrior fighter song. There was their "I Want Your Love" or whatever, which was amazing. Um,
Oh, yeah, you're right, they did so they have a really good qualification record. The first 3 years they were in, they qualified every year. Uh, first Stop She's Doob, the first time, they came 2nd in their semifinal. The
and they
4th
they've
time they
chewed every time.
and they yeah, 4th time or first time that they did not qualify was 2008, and then they qualified 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in a row, and then they failed to qualify
Oh,
3 times in a row.
those 3
That's
I just talked about,
yeah,
yeah.
2014 to 2016, and then they came back in 2017 and came 3rd.
And I did forget about Anna Odobescu.
Oh, yeah, she didn't
I
qualify.
totally forgot about her, but, she was an icon. She was in the
Yeah.
Eurovision movie.
Yes, yeah. So they kind of like they have a really good record, a record I think a lot of countries would really be very
Oh,
jealous
yeah.
of.
Oh,
But
yeah.
they have had kind of weak points in their participation where they weren't hitting. But generally, I mean, even looking at these, they're coming like left hand to the scoreboard most of the time when they do make
Yeah.
it to the final.
And even, like and I think a lot of that also can be attributed to the fact that looking at all of their entries, they are all so unique and different. Like, every single
Yeah,
one has they always do something to, like, make sure that the one that they end up picking, like, it has that one little special thing that you've never seen in Eurovision to really, like, make people excited. So I don't quite know which one that's gonna be this year, to be quite frank,
yeah.
because, um,
Some of my favorites didn't make it through, so I really don't know.
I agree. I really actually there was, ones that my favorites to be honest, my favorites didn't go through. Like, all my favorites didn't go through. Looking at the
Honestly,
qualifiers
like, I was watching and the qualifiers had already been decided, but I didn't look at them. So I was watching the show as if anything could happen. Oh my god, when I looked at the list, I was apoplectic. I scared my dog. She's like, "Oh my god, what is wrong?" Because I'm like, "You've got to be kidding me." Like I'm looking at my list, my yes list, and like almost none of them had actually made it on. Like all the songs that I didn't care for made it. I was really frustrated. Well, not all.
yeah.
There were songs that I liked that did make it.
Yeah. So we don't have to go through every single one that didn't qualify, I say. I think so. I think that would be kind of
Yeah, that's
absurd.
no.
So maybe we could just talk about the ones that we liked, and maybe if there were some that you really like thought were horrible that you want to note, you could also mention those. But I'll start with my one that I thought was really good, and that was Break Free by Maria. To me, I this was one of my favorite studio tracks, and really truly don't know how she didn't go through because she sounded really good. The song is just a really good, catchy bop, and to me, this was better than pretty much anything that went through.
Mm,
Um, I I I thought it was really good. I mean, yeah, it wasn't anything groundbreaking, but it's actually a solid song. Like, I feel like looking a lot of any of the songs competing, because they low-key just let everybody who submits through. So looking
yeah.
at and like, a lot of these are just not fucking, like, full thought out songs, to be honest. This was an actual, like, good, solid, quality little girl bop, and it didn't go through. I was kinda surprised.
Yeah, so this was one of those contests where people were submitting multiple songs. There were a few artists
Yeah.
who had 2 songs
Mhm.
in. Both songs that Olive Sky had put in,
Mm.
I really, really liked. I liked her. I thought the songs were, like, so nice and smooth and interesting. She reminded me of Fiona Apple. and
Mm.
just there was something a little bit like dark about her songs. Like I felt like there was layers there, and because of the audition kind of atmosphere, like it's really always stripped back, and I just felt like there was between those two. I think I liked the Another Universe song a little bit more, but it was just I don't know, I really liked her. I thought that
Really?
this would have been like a really interesting change for Moldova, because it's not like wacky and traditional, and instead it's like a little bit more indie and experimental, and I really wanted at least one of her songs to go through, and I'm very, very
Oh.
bummed out that she didn't, because she would have brought us a little bit more artisticness than
Mm.
what the other ones had, I thought.
Personally, I really didn't like her songs. I actually thought Of Them, Loud and Clear was the one I preferred, but I didn't love them.
Mm,
But I'm glad
gotcha.
that you did. I
Yeah,
do want
I
to talk about Carnival
oh my god. Hot
because
Mess Express.
hot mess, but I actually thought it was pretty good. Like it gave me Do Re Dos vibes.
Yeah.
They had dancers in full costumes come out. It was a mess. It was weird, but I, I thought I thought it would have gone through. Like it stood out amongst the crowd.
Yeah, okay. I totally see where you're coming from. I thought the song was totally fine.
Mhm.
Good song. Maybe not something super original, and maybe a little bit something too expected for Moldova at this point, because of the
Mhm.
type of
Yeah, that's true.
uh
Yeah.
folk pop fusion that they have, but they were really good. The song was fine. Their staging and stage performance was okay. Although they did feel a little bit like the creepy village guys that hang out outside of like the village shop that sells beer and drink all day.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so like I didn't like their vibe, just because I've been encountered in encounters with too many men like that. So they gave me the ick right
Yeah.
away. Um, but those dancers, I appreciate that they brought dancers. The costumes were so cheap looking. And it's like, if you're gonna get carnival dancers, like, why don't you find an actual carnival dance troupe in Moldova who has good costumes that they can have their dancers come, or just rent better costumes. It was literally like the feathers that you buy at the dollar store pasted onto bikinis. It was like offensively ugly and not even really traditional to carnival. And also, I didn't get the crossover between carnival and then a song that's essentially like
That's true.
Moldovan folk.
Yeah. That is true. That is true. Did you have another song that didn't go through that you stood out for you?
Um, Well, there's a song that didn't go through that stood out to me because of how disgusting it was, with a name of a singer, which we will not say on this podcast, because he has a habit of trying to get people's shows shut down when they say negative things about him. And since we haven't said any names, this could be anybody. But their song was absolutely terrible. And it was yet another time that this person has sent a really offensive song. And good riddance to bad rubbish that this song did not go through, because what the fuck was that, honestly?
Yeah, it was disgusting, and I actually do think Moldova, y'all, with peace and love, need to get some standards, and maybe you don't need to let everybody through.
You don't need to
Maybe,
let everybody through. It's crazy to let everybody through. I
yeah,
know that they want the money, but please, you guys,
you
don't
can
do
you
this
can do
again.
without one person,
Yeah.
frankly. Also, I feel like, hmm, Valeria, she was robbed, frankly. Her song Rule Rai Di Ridi, this to me was the best song in the selection.
Ooh, that's rough.
Her song Rule Rai Ridi, to me, this was the best song in the selection. I know, I get it. I was reading the comments. She was sick. Yeah, her vocals were not where they needed to be, but I thought her both of her two songs were really, really strong, were also pretty unique. One of them should have gone through. I actually think this one would have had the best potential at Eurovision because it was just it was interesting, dynamic, artsy. It had like a sensualness to it, but it also was like it had levels to where it like really took me somewhere. I feel like I'm imagining the way they amplify their songs with like really cool staging. This would have been really it would have opened up a lot of options of things to do with staging, I feel like, because of that. I thought it was so good. I was shocked neither of her songs went through.
Hmm.
Do you remember them at all?
No, I don't even remember them. Those ones fell
They
through the cracks for me. Some of them did fall. Like I'm even looking at the list and I'm like, oh my God, there's so many songs I don't even remember on here. Because there were so many songs. It was like I was writing down the ones that stood out to me, either really positively or really negatively.
Yeah, yeah, I get you. The other one that I thought was really good was Jungle by 𝗤𝗟𝘆. This was fucking amazing. I actually, okay, this one might have been song-wise the best that I heard because okay, he was very theater, which is why I said song-wise, because I didn't really love him
Hmm.
the way he was performing it. But the song itself was really good, really like dramatic ballad with a really cool instrumentation of like orchestra kind of vibe. It was I again shocked this didn't go through because he had amazing vocals. Like I really don't see the reason why something like this wouldn't go through because it was a really solid song. He performed it really well, and this could be amplified again for the big stage. Like this was just it was really cool. Also interesting lyrics, like I don't know, this storytelling through like a jungle motif of like we're animals, but like it was cool. It was really cool. I don't get why this didn't go through. I really don't.
Hmm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Well, only a few could go through, really. And there
Yes.
were a
And
lot of songs, and they weren't all bad.
they weren't. No. So then going into the ones that went through. Now, these were ranked. These are like these were ranked. So this we do have like a technically winner of the semi, but it's not a semi, I believe. At least
Oh,
where
I
I
didn't realize these were ranked, but I guess looking at the order that they're in, that does kind of make sense.
yeah. Like so I don't know again, like Lithuania. I find it weird for us to get that information
Yeah.
because it feels a little unfair to like the people in the bottom half of that ranking. Um,
I mean, it tells them they
so
really have to step it up, that, not to take it for granted, that they have to impress us at the final.
yes. So in the last place of the ranking, we had Y Limit with their song Revolution. Um, now for me, okay, this felt like a knockoff version of that dude from Fick that was like dressed in the same fucking outfit, all black, sunglasses, and like him kind of like chanting and shit like that. It was like he was just singing the whole time, like he was just talking, but somehow it still felt off key. Like,
Yeah.
how are you off key when you're just talking? I don't know. And he
Hmm.
had another song, and I thought it was better. This one was just not doing anything for me.
I did not like either of his songs. He was so stiff. He was like a pretzel
Hmm.
rod. Like you could literally snap him in half. Um,
Hmm.
it was just the like performance wasn't there to make up for the song being a little bit flat, and the vocals weren't there to make up for the song being a bit flat. And it just this one was, I mean, I see why it came last here because it was so marginal. Like I think there were other songs that I would have put in this one's place.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Then, though, I will say we had an iconic song with the song DNA by
What
Sasha
the
Letty.
hell is
This
this
was
song?
insane. Like, she's singing about cum, right? Like,
The
this is,
lyrics are so weird. I wish I would have written them down. I wonder if anyone else has,
I
because
need to know what she was actually saying because at one point it sounded like she said, I want your D inside of me.
I think she fucking did though, is the thing. I think she did. Okay, do you know what? Let's listen to this song. Can we just listen to the song?
Yeah.
Okay. Because we can cut it out. Oh wait, I'm gonna have to screen share. Let me just queue up the film. Queue up the film. Where am I from? Okay, let me screen share.
This is a good album art.
Yeah. How much your passion grows? Hello. Okay, no, this is a sick song though, actually.
It is. It's actually kind of good. Like she wants to have a taste of your DNA.
I want your D inside of me. Wait, I want your D inside of me.
She does not say any. She doesn't say I want your DNA inside of me. She wants your D. That's insane. She don't want none of it to go to waste either.
She is such a whore for that. Oh my god. Icon. Icon. This is my winner.
Like looking at it from that perspective.
I mean, it would not qualify for the final, but it is fucking amazing.
But imagine this with like some give me some sugar like production. Girl, keep the lyrics. I don't care. Like just give it a revamp and she got it. She's coming for that final. She's kind of a legend for that. I'm not gonna
She's a
lie.
legend.
Frankly, I think she is the most this is the best lyrics of this whole lineup because she's speaking some truth.
Mm-hmm.
She's speaking some truth. And I think we all know, we all have someone in our mind where we can relate to this song and we have someone who we think about when we hear this song.
Yes.
For me it's 𝗬𝗆. But anyways, um so then we had Bravo by Nicoletta Sava. Girl, she was struggle bussing over there. This this was weird to me.
Yes.
It part of it sounded like a national anthem. Like it was so like inspiring in the sense that it was like, okay, this feels like something that somebody would write to get an entire nation together and ready to fight a war or something. Like she was like,
It was a bit anthemic.
bravo. It was like crazy to me.
So what it reminded me of, I totally feel the like national anthem thing, but what it reminded me of was back in the 80s, there was this period of time, maybe into the 90s a little bit, where movies would have like an original song that the producers of the movie would find an artist and a songwriter and they would have them write a song for the movie, and the idea was that you would be able to release like the official song for the movie and sell records of that to so you're promoting music and it's kind of a bit of like a double dipping to make
Mhm.
more money off of merchandise. And like a movie that did this is uh I think it was Mannequin, and it was a Jefferson Starship song. And we will build a dream
We'll sing
together,
together, stand this world together. Nothing
nothing
can
is gonna stop us
stop us
now.
now,
And
and
if this
we
world
can
runs out
melt
of
down.
lovers, we'll still have each other.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is like that's like one of the better examples of those purpose written songs. Then
Mhm.
there's a movie called uh Once Bitten, starring Jim Carrey, and
Mm.
I really love this movie for reasons I won't get into here. But this movie has one of these songs that's like written for the movie, and it is god awful. And
Mm.
this feels like one of those songs where it was actually made to be played at like the climax point of an 80s
Yeah.
movie. So it has kind of like that rising action and the overcoming feelings, and like where you kind of you feel a lot is happening in them. But this was more of the Once Bitten song and less of the Nothing's Gonna Stop Us
Ah,
Now song. So it was not like a good like association for me with this one. It just
I
was too
see.
corny.
Yeah, it wasn't there's got to be a morning after for the
Certainly not.
Poseidon Adventure. Like it was not that. That song gives. My boyfriend, I was telling him because I love that song so much because I love the Poseidon Adventure growing up. Like I love that movie. And he was telling me his family would play that every single time they would go on a road trip, like, nonstop, and so he has really negative emotions, but he didn't know it was for the Poseidon Adventure, he just thought it was a whatever
A
regular
song?
song, and I was like, "No, it's so good." I was like, "We gotta watch Poseidon Adventure." That's a great In the Cabin movie. I need to
I've
just
never
find.
seen this movie.
Oh, it's so good. It's like there's like a trio of these movies that were all like produced by the same people, but I think they're based off of books. And I don't remember what the third one is, but there's the Poseidon Adventures about like a ship that tips over and they have to like escape the ship. Then there's also the Towering Inferno, which is almost honestly they predicted 9/11.
Is this for kids or
No.
okay.
No, no, no. It's not because actually, like, I remember literally, like, as a kid, I remember literally, like, there's, like, a moment where you, like, see up this woman's dress and you fully see her, like, in her underwear, and I don't know, it was an early core memory as a kid. So then next up, we have Fever by Victor Gulick. Um, this was again, like I said about that one girl in Lithuania, I was just laughing. Like, and I know that's literally so mean, but, like, I just was like, his voice was so, like, nasally and, like, I just laughed. I just had to laugh at that point. I was like, "This is not." The song's not anything amazing either, but I was like, "Your voice ain't helping."
Mm-mm.
Hate to
No, this one
say
was
it.
such a miss. He sounded like somebody that you would hire for cheap to sing at your wedding.
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
was, really, like, not polished or well performed or and the song like, it distracted from the song for better or for worse because the song itself wasn't, like, super standout.
Yeah.
So I was really surprised that this one actually got through.
Yeah, again, like, that's what I'm not understanding is, like, there were ones that didn't have good vocal performances nor a great song, so what was the reason? Because you'd be better off putting through a singer that maybe isn't a great singer, but has a really good song, or is a great singer and maybe has a whatever song, but at least you know they're good
Yeah.
at singing. If they weren't singing, what how how we I I don't get it. I don't get it. Then we had Contrasense by Regina Alexandrina. That's a slay little name.
It's a great
Uh,
name.
with her, I actually thought the song was pretty good. Her voice wasn't as strong as I want it to be, but maybe it's a bad day. Maybe it
Mhm.
just was whatever. But I thought it was really cool, and I loved the accordion. Like, that is, to me, what I expect from Moldova, and that's not something Moldova has sent before. So
Mhm.
it's something wacky, it's weird, it's that one thing, like I said, they always got that one little thing that makes each of their entries stand out, and that
Well,
accordion is what would bring it.
they did have an accordion. The 𝗥𝗵𝗆 brothers had an accordion.
Mm,
But
mhm.
she's a single person, and
Yeah,
she's a
yeah.
girl with an accordion, which they've definitely not had. I love this one. I think this is one of their better options that
Mhm.
they've got. And I like that it is something we would expect from Moldova, but it doesn't feel like the way that carnival one was just kind of like an obvious like kind of like Moldovan song, whereas this one did
Yeah.
still have a little bit of like interest and originality and something else. A reason that I would like to see her move on and maybe win this thing is because
Mhm.
you know damn well that girl is going to have the accordion everywhere she goes, and she is going to play it everywhere she goes for anyone who wants to hear that accordion exactly the same way that the 𝗥𝗵𝗆 brothers played, like where people would be like talking, giving interviews, and they would just be like, and they would play music to go to the people who were taught like they
Mhm.
I have a feeling that she would give endless entertainment with that the same way that Blanca Paloma, if you just went like this with your hand, Blanca Paloma would start singing a yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. Just she was
Yeah.
just always on, always ready to sing a little bit of her song. I feel like Regina Alexandrina would absolutely do that for us, and she would be iconic to have in the competition.
I love characters like that. Like people like that are what make the Eurovision season iconic. And
Yes.
I feel like she could add something really special to that. Anytime I think of doing that with 𝗥𝗶𝘆𝘆, I just think of when I ran into her in the doorway at the hotel, and I was shocked to see her, like, because I was running to change really quickly to run back to the venue. And I looked, I turned, I saw her and um 𝗤𝗏𝗄𝗆 or whatever. They were standing in the doorway taking a photo, and I turned to her because I was in my EA look, and I went, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then she just started saying stuff in Spanish, and I had no idea what she was saying, and it just wasn't the moment to be like, what?
Yeah, oh
So,
my God.
so I just think of that anytime.
That's so funny.
So then we had the song Light Up by Viola, Viola, Julia,
Right,
Julia.
Yulia.
Uh, Girl, this is insane. Her voice was the worst.
I
It
can't
actually
believe
was
this
horrible.
qualified. How did this qualify? I was
No less comes sixth.
Oh my God, I was shocked to see that, and this is the same person who had, become a meme, like, 2 years ago because she was reading the lyrics to her song off of her cell phone during the audition, and she looks completely different now. She looks 20 years older. She looks crazy, absolutely crazy, and this song was just not it, and it was not performed well. I don't know what they are thinking with this one.
See, I actually didn't think the song itself was bad, but I thought she was just horrible. I mean, I could have delivered a better vocal performance than what that was. That was insane. Like, it was crazy.
It
Like,
it was crazy. This was not good.
no, no, I don't. This is where I'm truly like, okay, Moldova, please be for real.
Yeah.
Moldova, please be for real. What are y'all? What is the criteria? I
Yeah,
need,
you're
you know,
right.
in pageants, they do the score sheets and they have notes for every performer.
Yes.
I need to see the notes.
Yeah.
I need to see what y'all said that was good about this that made you want to put this through.
Uh, they were like,
Insane.
memes will be made from this girl. We should put her through to
Yes,
get the
yeah.
views up on YouTube.
Oh my God. And then we had No Time, No Space by Ol or OL. Um, this was insanely boring. And
Yeah.
okay, so the only thing that caught my attention what was on her head. And I didn't know if it, okay, I don't know if it could be, I don't know. I was like scared it could be like a medical thing. And like, I don't know, like, like pins in her head. They literally look like push pins. Did you look at them like close enough? I paused and looked. They looked like push pins that she just glued to her head
Oh my
because it actually
God.
looked like a metal circle with something pointy sticking out of it. It looked like push pins that she glued to her head to look like, I don't know, maybe she thought they looked like horns or something.
So when I first saw her, I thought, like, does she have horns? And then I was like, well, they're not horns really. Are they dermal implants? Because sometimes
Yeah.
people do get like piercings. Normally they do it in the fatty part of the cheek though. And sometimes they look really cute when you get them in
Yeah.
your fatty parts of your cheeks. And I thought maybe they're dermal implants. But then I was like, but maybe they're just some sort of appliques, like she's doing a Miss Katie Love, or
Yeah,
I was confused.
I took a screenshot of it. So I just texted to you if you have your phone near you. Please zoom in because you cannot tell me those aren't push pins.
No way.
Those are push
No,
pins.
because you
Those are
can
push pins.
oh my God, on
Because
because
when on the
it's a
side, the one
yes,
on the
it's
side, you
straight
can
coming
see
out.
it.
Oh my God.
And like, it makes no sense too because it's such a boring, like, giving nothing song. It's like, why does she have push pins glued to her forehead?
No, that is so weird. And it's like, if you're gonna do something crazy, like, why not do them all the way over your eyebrows and make it a
Yeah.
look instead of just these two? Like, was that a dare for her to do
I
that?
truly think she put those, and when she was gluing those to her forehead, she said, "Oh my god, look, it's gonna look like I have horns. Like I'm a little devil, like I'm a little edgy."
Yeah,
Like
I am okay. Honestly, I am gagged right now by that. Like, mm, okay, we'll see what she does next time around. But yeah, I was totally distracted by the little push pin horns
Yeah.
for most of it.
Yeah, maybe let's hey girl, like maybe next time she's gonna come out with full on little prosthetics and then
Maybe.
it's gonna serve.
But still, I don't see how that matches the song at all. But
No, no idea. Oh my god. Moldova, you never cease to entertain us.
yeah.
Then we had Fever by Catalina Solomac. This song, okay, I actually thought it was one of the first ones I listened to. And when I first and I thought it was pretty weak. After I listened to all of them, and I was like, "Wait, I don't really remember this one. Let me go back and like, did I like this? Did I not?" I was like, "Oh, wait. Okay, compared to everything, this is one of their better ones in my opinion." She has a really good voice, I feel like, for most of the time. It feels, like, really powerful when she's kinda, like, belting, but then when she's just kinda singing in the verses, it felt very flat. Again, it's not special at all, but it's one of the better ones, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the better ones. It's funny because it's the second song called Fever. Um,
Mhm.
it's definitely the better song called Fever.
Yeah.
Um, So this song is actually written by Jonas Gladnikov. He is
Mm.
a friend of the 𝗫spot. He was actually the first interview that we ever did on our
Oh,
very first
yeah.
episode of the 𝗫spot. He's a songwriter from Sweden, and he has written songs. He actually has had entries. He had two songs in Eurovision.
Mm.
He wrote a song for 𝗲𝗏𝗆𝗏, her
And
second
oh, yeah.
song, not the one she won with. And he also wrote �etc., that kind of like pop punky girl rock song, which I don't think made
Mhm.
it to the final. But so he's had two songs in Eurovision already. Um,
He's the
he
Irish person too. He did, like, some of the Irish songs for, Junior Eurovision as
Oh,
well.
yes, he's done Junior Eurovision songs. He's a really prolific songwriter. He works a lot.
Oh, he
What
also
else?
wrote the Jungle song that I said was the best one in the whole.
Oh, did he write that one
Yes.
too?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing his name pop up a few times, but this was the only one of the songs that made it through. I also think he wrote 𝗫𝗏𝘃𝐶𝑠's song for
Mm,
Norway last year.
he wrote, it was for Skrillex.
Oh, it's for Skrillex.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
it was for Skrillex.
Mhm.
Yes, that's right. So, so I'm really happy. Obviously, I'm a bit biased because I really like Jonas. So, I was really happy to see that he had a song go through. And yeah, it's definitely one of the better ones.
Yeah. I mean, I wish his other one went through because I thought it, like I said, I didn't even realize that, but I said it was one of the best
Yeah.
actual songs of the whole thing. Um, yeah, yeah. I like this one. I saw your note and I was like, who's the Jonas Brothers? Ugh. Then we had the song Runaway by, I don't know how to say this because that's an I.
I think it's a
Yulia?
Yulia, yeah.
Yulia? Uh, Tele, Tele, okay, we'll just say Yulia. Um, I, okay, I actually love this song. I found myself singing this multiple times at my job. Like, when
Oh,
I'm just
wow.
standing there and there's nothing going on and it's slow because I work at a fucking ice cream shop in the dead of winter, and I'm sitting there going, "Run away." run away, run away, run away, run away, like it's actually that part is so catchy. It's not really good. Like it's one of those songs where it's stuck in your head and you're like, oh my God, this is so annoying. Get it out of my head. But hey, that's saying something. I
Yeah.
will say, I truly, in this live performance, could not understand a word she was saying. Like, no diction whatsoever, girl. All those words blend together. And also, did she not look like she was like 12 years old?
She looked really young.
Like, how old is this girl? Because I did not expect that at all based on, yeah. I was like, she looks so young. I
Yeah,
know she's not 12, but like,
this one, like the chorus, like it is catchy and like the melody is catchy. However, like I've already said in this episode, I do find it a bit annoying when a chorus is just saying the same word, like in with different like, you know, intonation on it.
yeah.
So, um, it wasn't this one didn't do a whole lot for me, but based on the other options, it makes sense that this one qualified to me.
I did actually like this song, though. I feel like it's one of my favorites of the lineup, which is kind of sad, but
Yeah.
it is what it is. Then we had the song Anti-Princess by Valeria Pasha. Uh, Does she have any relation to Pasha Parfeni or whatever? Because he's a co-writer on this song. I don't know.
I don't know,
That's not
but I
his
mean,
last name or
his last
anything.
name's
Like,
Parfeni, and Pasha is a shorthand version for, I think, Alexander. I think Pasha is like Sasha. It's
hmm,
Alex, I think. But he's all over the place as far as writing songs for people.
that's
Uh,
actually
was she
that
one
is
of his
true.
background singers or something?
I don't believe so. I'm trying to. Oh, wait. Hold on. Um, yes, she was. She was one of his background singers last year.
Okay.
So, oh, I see. Because I remember hearing his wife had some involvement in the selection. His wife's also a co-writer on this song. That's what
Okay.
because I remember hearing his wife had something going on, and so I thought, oh, is this his wife or what? So she was one of the background singers of him for last year. Oh, slay. We love to see that. Well, I actually really like this song. I think it's really cool. My issue is the drop. It's one of those drops that's a build up to nothing.
Mm.
But that's something very easy to fix. But I like her attitude. I like her as a performer. Like she was cool. I thought this was cool. I feel like, to be honest, out of all them, given looking at the results, because all my favorite songs didn't even qualify. So looking at the results, this is probably the one I would say, I guess, should go through. This was also the one where I noticed there were Christmas trees all over the studio.
Yeah, they were. So they must have recorded it a while ago, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is probably my winner, actually. I liked it. I like the theme, the idea of anti-princess. I think there's a lot of directions they can take that, like visually and with staging.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like the song had enough power behind it um, to be interesting and memorable. And also, I feel like it's one of those things like anti-princess. I don't think I've ever heard anti-princess before. So there is just like
Mm-hmm.
something a little bit like inventive and fun about it in the concept that I feel like this one is really strong for me, and I think this one is my winner. So I would like to see this one go to Eurovision.
Yeah, I think I do agree, but it's hard to say because none of them I'm particularly excited about, I guess.
For me, it would be between her and then Accordion Girl.
Yes, I agree. I agree 100%. Um, lastly, I guess not to ignore the girl that won the whole audition was Natalia Barbu in the middle, which by the way, she has been to Eurovision. She
Oh,
is the person who sung that song back in like 2006 or 7 or something.
2007 Fight.
Fight,
She came 10th at the
which
final.
is one of their best songs ever, frankly. So I'm shocked by this Because I did not realize that even when we first covered the songs. I didn't realize that. I only realized that after the fact when I was like editing or something, and I was like shocked because my expectations, bitch, you have one of the best Moldovan songs ever. What is
Mm.
this? How is this the number one, first place of the auditions when this is just so boring and uninteresting and mid? Like, it's got good elements to it, but uh, this the winner?
Well, okay, so I did feel like this one was going to be the winner, actually.
Really?
Um, I felt like it was the most competently executed.
Okay.
She the
Yeah.
like her performance was really good, the
Hmm.
costume was good, the music sounded good enough. Like everything about it was the most complete, the most Eurovision ready. Whereas like Valeria Pasha, I feel like her like the song is better, the attitude is better, but maybe it was
Yeah.
a little bit rough around the edges. In the middle was not rough around the edges. It was very polished and very good. However, it was not interesting
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
it didn't feel fresh or new at all. And so like I right now, which it's actually kind of funny that this is how it turned out because like I would probably my expectation would be that Valeria Pasha would be my winner and not make it because Natalia Barbu had a slicker package for her song that required
Mm.
less work to make it Eurovision ready. Although interesting between the two of them is that they have both already been in Eurovision, one as a main singer,
Yeah.
one as a backup. So between the two of them, it would be a good choice for either because and kind of know they've been through it before.
Yeah. I mean, if we're keeping with the trend of Moldova and sending past Eurovision contestants, which they've been doing the last few years, then
Mhm.
Natalia got this one in the bag. And I mean, it wouldn't be a bad choice. Like, I don't think this one is so like this one is not so much worse than Valeria's or the accordion one to where I feel like they're all kind of mid in my brain. Like none of them have me excited. So like whatever. If one of them wins, whatever. We'll see how they go. I'm sure they'll revamp it. I'm sure they'll do some cool stuff with the staging. But none of them have me excited. And
Yeah.
I'm disappointed Aliona Moon dropped out
Yeah.
because her song was it would have qualified. Like it was good. It was good. I actually like really looking at everybody. I'm like, oh, she probably actually would have been like a surefire winner. I'm sure there's something behind the scenes of the why she withdrew, but like after looking at everybody, yeah,
You know, I realize that I have made a grave mistake with my um ticket because I am flying back on that Saturday and I will be in an airplane during the national finals
oh
on the 17th.
no,
So I'm going to miss because I was just checking to see when is this Moldovan
yeah,
final. We'll get the winner on the 17th of February. So I will actually be I'm going to be in an airplane for the biggest Super Saturday. So that means I'm going to get so many spoilers. I might have to just like not check Twitter or
yeah.
anything. I might not be able to check
Oh,
anything.
oh my God. Well, it's weird to think, oh my God, I'm gonna, well, I mean, we'll be doing that also the week prior, but the 17th, I'll be at one of the
Yeah,
I will be at
probably.
one of the shows. I will, be witnessing one of those bitches, hopefully witnessing 5 minutes going to the fucking, to Eurovision.
I wish
Hopefully.
I wish I would have figured that out that I shouldn't fly on a Saturday. I should fly on a Sunday, but it is what it is, and there will be other years.
Yeah, exactly. I will be flying back home actually, am I flying back home the 20th or no, definitely not the 20th. During Dora's semifinals is when I will be flying back home. So I
You
think I'll
won't be
live.
missing anything. Yeah.
I think I'll live. Unless Rim Tim Taggy Diggy doesn't go through.
Mm.
But so that
Oh,
was all.
yeah.
Oh,
An emoji. We need to give them an emoji. In fact, there was
yes.
someone who commented on one of the episodes. I don't think you guys gave an emoji, so they gave us a random one. So,
Oh yeah.
how about you do a little suitcase because right now Maxxy and I are trying to figure out how to pack our suitcases for Finland, which is a teaser for next week's episode, which is going to be all about UMK because all of the songs will have been released. And it's going to be Finland week next week, plus recaps of other stuff, but
Yes.
it will be Finland week. So,
Yes, that's what that is going
yeah.
to be all about, honestly. Because that's the big one. I mean, definitely we want to like do some emphasis to the ones we're going to be going to, and
Yeah,
that is the national selection of the season. That is the highest anticipated one, I feel like, of this season. So
by far.
I'm very excited about next week once we get all of the songs and everything like that. You know, I think we should do sometime. I think we should start giving like our favorite song that we're listening to.
Ooh, that's a
Like
cool idea.
this is a music-based podcast pretty much, you know? And I kind of feel like, oh, like I have some songs that are totally not Eurovision related at all, but I'm obsessed with that sometimes I want to give a little shout out to. I think that'd be a cute little end of episode thing.
Yeah. Do you have anything that comes to mind right now?
Let me go to my on repeat. I think I do.
Oh, I've got one. So I have been listening
Mm.
to this song by eBay called Business Mies, which means businessman. Mr. Foley is a business mies. Misa onse business. Misa onse mies. It's a Finnish rap song. It is sick. I am going to be
Ooh.
popping mad pussy to this song if it comes on at the UMK dance floor. Watch out. My ass is going to get thrown in jail for how nasty I'm going to be getting on the dance floor, people. This song is great. Check out Business Mies by eBay.
Yes. I do you have like a playlist of do you keep like playlists of country songs? Like, do you have a Finland playlist? Because I'm gonna need you to send that
Yes.
to me
I will send
because
that to you.
I gotta get
Yes.
prepped for Finland.
Yeah, maybe pop it into the description too. Let other people get pumped with my playlist.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. Well, I'll say, okay, the song I'm obsessed with right now just came out. Literally, it entered my dreams. 𝗬𝗆𝘆's new song, Nothing to
Wow.
Lose. Babe, let's get in the car. Da, da, na, na, na. I got nothing to lose.
Oh, that sounds okay,
It's
actually.
it's really fucking good. It's a good vibe. It's literally I was telling Renata, girl, 𝗬𝗆𝘆 entered my dreams. Literally, I think it was last night. He was in my dreams. And I was listening to the song walking home, and he was in my dreams after that. So if you want 𝗬𝗆𝘆 in your dreams, go listen to the song.
Last night I had a dream that I was in the airplane and was getting my connection flight in Abu Dhabi for some reason. And I like woke up in the plane. I'm like, wait, but nobody checked our passports. And I realized I forgot my passport at home. Yeah, stress dream
Oh my
about
God, that's
passports.
actually
Not
my fear
good.
right now because I have not been able to find my
Oh my
passport, but
God, girl, you better find your passport.
I know it's around the house. My mom said she saw it on the dining room table
Oh my
like
God,
this week. So I don't know
you
where
better
it went,
find
but
that.
it's somewhere. It's somewhere. Well, and you know what? Leave your little emojis in the comments down below and leave what song you're obsessed with too, because I will go and listen to every single fucking one. Okay? Trust and
Yes.
believe. I want to hear all because I know everybody who listens to this, we all got the same music taste.
Yeah.
So and yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for listening. Of course, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, rate the podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify if you're listening over there. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe to my channel, 𝗥𝗶𝘆 Rainbow. And
I am Renata, and I am everywhere at eSpotPod.
yes, and we will see you all next week. Goodbye. Mwah.